Could you have chosen to do something other than watch this video at this moment? Are you sure? Welcome to The Hole in the Sky, where we examine why atheism can't possibly be correct. Today we're talking about free will, the first of the big seven supernatural phenomena that we all exhibit every day. Free will is the ability to make a meaningful choice. If all events have completely physical causes, then you and I have no free will. In that case, all events would be entirely forced by the events that came before in an unbroken chain reaction stretching back to the beginning of time. There would be no such thing as a choice or a decision. Each of us would have the same ability to decide our responses that a nail has in deciding how far to sink into a block of wood when it's hit by a hammer. Without valid free will, you have been destined to watch this video at this moment since the dawn of time, and there has never been any possibility of any other outcome. In such a universe, there's only one answer to any question beginning with the word why. Why do birds sing? Why were you rude to me? Why do I detest cream of wheat? If everything is physics, then the answer is always the same, because it was entirely forced by prior physical events. And even that answer would be entirely forced. As someone has said, I believe I have free will, but if I am wrong in that belief, then I had no choice in the matter. Free will can't be a product of mere physics because it requires two things the physical universe can't produce. First, free will requires the ability to perform an unforced act. To say we have made a choice implies that there was a possibility of having chosen otherwise. A decision cannot be a physically forced event. The second thing required by free will is a valid framework of values and meaning. In short, to choose the better option, you must first be able to define the word better. But if atheism were true, then everything would be physics, and physics values nothing. If no option is better than any other, then we have no basis for making a meaningful choice. The universe by itself can't meet either of those requirements. Some atheists rest in their ignorance and say things like, I believe I have free will, and that the universe produces it. Science just hasn't yet discovered how. But that's just poor thinking, a quasi-religious faith pretending to be a rational thought. No experimental result in history has ever suggested that physics can make a meaningful decision. The problem isn't merely that we don't know how it could happen. It's that there are no scientific laws that even allow for the existence of free will as a physical event. To the contrary, every experiment in the physical sciences assumes in advance that the universe cannot make an uncaused choice. That assumption is why the scientific method works in the first place. Even if the universe could perform an unforced event, it couldn't assign any meaning or value to that event. So the thoughtful atheist finds himself stuck. Atheism can't coexist alongside free will. If the atheist clings to his belief that physics is everything, then his ability to choose evaporates. If he further accepts that he cannot choose what he does, then his every action, every thought, becomes meaningless. The perfect futility of atheism is not merely pointless, it's intolerable. All of us, even atheists who have concluded their free will is an illusion, act as though we have a real ability to choose and as if those choices matter. But we cannot keep both. Either the human race is unanimously mistaken about its free will, or you are something more than mere physics. To keep our free will, we need a third cause, one that isn't physically forced, but that isn't meaninglessly random either. Nature cannot provide such a cause, and it never will, because it isn't a matter of simply finding some as yet undiscovered free will particle or phenomenon within physics. What we need is an altogether different kind of cause, a non-natural cause, a supernatural cause. That's the only way we keep our free will. Supernature is the only possibility that solves the problem. If free will is a real thing, then it's not a product of nature. When you decided to watch this video, you performed a supernatural act. In a very real sense, you worked a miracle. You can do this because you yourself are not a product of physics. Instead, you are a supernatural being interacting with the physical universe through the avatar of your body. This is the only rational conclusion. To believe otherwise is to suffer from poor thinking, or to believe the universe can work magic. So here's today's takeaway. Free will requires two things that physics can't provide. One, the ability to make an unforced decision, and two, a framework of valid valuations to differentiate between options. The universe cannot make a meaningful decision. If you have free will, it's a supernatural act. Thanks for watching. For a summary of the big 7 miracles that you perform every day, watch this video next. See you next time.